Great. Well, this has been a great segment. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. This has been a great segment, a lot of information, a lot of dispelling of myths, misconceptions, and really providing good, solid, concrete information. I do want to be mindful of everyone's time. I do have one question to kind of take us out. And first off, thank you to our guests that have been on the show. You know, we've got Atlanta being represented, Illinois, Texas, Detroit, Michigan, Chicago. Good information from people from um, different parts of the country, but still share commonality in terms of being a gun enthusiast, but then also exercising their Second Amendment rights as African Americans, which is really important, which is really critical. Before I go to my last question, this will be a great segue. First off, I'd like to give a shout out to Jerome Easterling, Queens Guard Club from San Antonio is here. Harold Edwards just said he has a Glock 19, Generation 5, got the Smith & Wesson 1911, and a Diamondback AR-15. So Harold Edwards is a gun enthusiast. So it's good to see. But we had some other comments throughout our conversation. Also got some private messages that unfortunately, won't have an opportunity to get around to. But it's good and empowering to see African Americans really involved and wanting to get more information and also willing to exercise their Second Amendment. The last question I have, just briefly, and this will take us out of our discussion tonight, and that is, one of the challenges for me as an African American was going to range or gun shops, and I was the only person of color in some instances. Again, we're talking years ago, but it still can be like that depending on what part of the city, what part of the country you are at. What are some resources that African Americans can be linked to that can help them connect with like-minded individuals like themselves? I know there's a great opportunity to promote, what it is that you're doing, but then also some other resources. So I'm going to start with Quincy, Stephanie, Chad, and then Colin to close us out. So Quincy, just real briefly, some resources that are available for African Americans to be involved in like-minded think tank individuals.
This organization right here, National African American Gun Association.
No doubt.
Yep.
NAAGA.co, the greatest resource for us, by us, about us.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that one more time?
The website?
Yes, please.
So NAAGA.co. So is about us, is for us, by us, or about us. Everything about us with the Second Amendment.
And
simple as that.
And then also, now will that information link you to local chapters, or is it more than that? Okay.
Everything. On local chapters. So it has local chapters. It will also have retails, black-owned stores, manufacturers, things like that. So, I mean, not just only do we talk about the Second Amendment, but we also support the Black businesses as well. That's what we're all about.
Sounds like that's the resource hub.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It is.
Stephanie, any additional thoughts on that? Anything locally?
Locally, your Houston chapter, of course, and your local NAGA chapter if you're not in Houston. But also, I just want to really implore you to look into carry insurance. Too often we don't talk about that. And I want to use this little bit of airtime left to emphasize that if you were thinking about carrying, you need to get carry insurance. It's like if you have a car, before you drive off the lot, you need insurance. You need insurance when you carry. A whole nother class for that. But definitely look into and start discussing carry insurance. So
that's a great point, because I didn't even touch on that, and I'm vaguely familiar with that. So that's something that maybe I'd like to have another discussion at another point. But that's something that I'm not sure many people are aware of, because I was just made aware of it several months back, and it was just through casual conversation. It wasn't even anything that was formally instructed on.
2 resources for information on it. I'm not necessarily promoting it or endorsing it or whatever, but 2 resources for carry insurance is USCCA and US Law Shield. Look into them. They give you a breakdown of what they offer, what carry insurance is, and then do your due diligence and look at other programs, companies that offer carry insurance and see what suits your needs, because there is a wide variety of coverage when it comes to this insurance. So please read the fine print.
Great point. Thank you. Chad?
I think that obviously the National African American Gun Association is going to be that resource, without a doubt. There are a bunch of different other organizations as well, and I think it's fair to look at some of the other ones also, because maybe the chapter of the National African American Gun Association may not be for you, or if there's not one in your area, maybe you can start one, or if there's an organization in your area that's not NAAGA, you can go with that organization, right? But I think it's important that you do a couple of things locally. Number one, look for reputable trainers and instructors. That's going to help you out tremendously, because your instructor can make or break your first impression of a firearm in that experience. That's a huge thing. I think another thing you need to do is, if you're going to take this seriously, understand what your state firearm laws are. Absolutely. Because if you don't understand what your state firearm laws are, you're in jeopardy of being a criminal by accident. And that's something that you do not want to do under any circumstance. You can ruin your life that way. And lastly, I'm going to say it again, go and check out NAAGA.co. Yes. If you're in Michigan, or anywhere throughout the Midwest, you can get at me, you can get at Q. We just started a chapter in Flint, Michigan. So we have Flint, Detroit, Lansing, and Grand Rapids.
Yeah.
Great. Good work, guys. Keep it up.
We've got Columbus and Cleveland and Cincinnati. We've got Indianapolis. We got Chicago. We got Rockford. We got Zion, Illinois. We got Minnesota. We got 2 in Milwaukee. We got 1 in Iowa now.
Wow. We working. That Chad's working, man.
We've got I'm working on 1 in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm working on 1 in Dayton, Ohio right now. We've got 1 in St. Louis, Kansas City, Missouri, Kansas City, Kansas, Jefferson City, Columbia, Missouri. We're building chapters all over the place, throughout the Midwest for sure. But just really, man, NAGA is a great resource and a great hub to get connected with like-minded folks on your Second Amendment journey.
Yep. Great information. Again, keep up the good work. I mean, you guys are like I'm blown away knowing that there were this many chapters that are popping up, not popping up, but that are rising, I should say, throughout the Midwest. Colin?
Yeah, I call it the Great Awakening. That's what we're experiencing right now.
Yes.
I love it.
It's just up to us to manage it, right? As the big brothers and sisters of those who are being introduced to firearms, we have to set the example, and we also have to show guidance, and a lot of patience and and understanding and wisdom to those who are coming aboard.
Yes.
We can't treat this thing frivolously, right? So to whom much, to whom much is given, much is required, right? So we need to be those stewards. So we're gonna try and catch up with y'all. There was only 1 chapter in Georgia, but now we have 5. So if you're in the Atlanta metro area, check out the Bass Reeves Gun Club, www.bassreevesgc.com. We have a chapter in McDonough, Georgia, the 9th Cavalry Buffalo Soldiers. We have a Savannah chapter, Warner Robins, Georgia, and also East Point. So Georgia's building, and I love it. I love to see our people embrace this human right, and also this Black tradition of arms that we have to carry forth. So one of the ways that we can help to increase the numbers and increase our presence and our influence is to join the shooting sports, right? So there's a lot of competitive arenas that we can get into and take over, right? So IDPA, USPSA, as
We're
Chad
coming.
mentioned,
We're coming.
yep,
And
we're
there's
coming.
scholarships for that
Yep.
too.
We're
Tell
coming.
them there's
Yep.
scholarships.
Clay and
Hello.
trap shooting. Yep,
So
you got
I want to
scholarships to
say
colleges. Yep,
facts.
go ahead, Chad.
I
No,
want to
no.
say something real quick. I want to
Yeah,
give a
go
shout
for
out. I want to give a shout out to the training director of the Black Bottom Gun Club. My man is literally a world-class shooter, and I mean that in a very, very literal way. Meaning, last year he competed in the World IDPA tournament and came in number 2 in his
That
division.
is awesome.
Talking about, baby.
He mad because he got to be number 2 for the rest of the year, right? That's how competitive he is.
Hey,
But,
tell them there can only be one number 1.
right,
That
right.
should burn them up.
He's mad about it, but and I love his competitive fire. But he's one of my mentors. He's a fantastic instructor, a fantastic human being. I appreciate you, Ross, for everything you do for our club and our people. Yeah, man, it definitely all the instructors who've been mentors to me, both Ross and Body Bio Tactical, his wife, they've been mentors for me as well. It's people out here that can get you right, and again, NAGA can be that hub to get you in that direction. But definitely, competitive shooting is fun. Get you some trap, get you some IDPA, all of that stuff. Some 3-gun. Definitely
Absolutely.
get into that because
and a few years ago, there's plenty of opportunities. And a few years ago, you'd go to these competitions and you may only see 1 or 2 of us, and now we represent, and it does 2 things. It shows the rest of our community that we can do it and that we can compete and we can win. And the second thing, it shows other communities that we can compete and we can win. So when, again, you fear what you don't understand. So once they understand us, they see us come, we're very professional, we're very proficient. It creates a different understanding of who we are, right? So maybe we can touch people, just by the way that we carry ourselves in this gun culture, right? So, get involved, invite people out to shoot, get people involved in demonstrating safety and great marksmanship, and you'll see us really take off in this gun culture and in this country.
Absolutely. Well, this is a conversation that can go on for another couple of hours because I feel the passion and the energy and the enthusiasm from this group. But I want to be mindful of everyone's time. And let me just say thank you to the guests that have joined me tonight for the information that they've shared, for helping get some of that information out, breaking down some of those barriers, dispelling some of those myths and untruths. Before we wrap up, I'd just like to acknowledge some of our guests. I didn't get a chance to get to all the comments and questions, but James Wade Greer stopped in, checked us out. DeMichael Fontaine, Cassandra Light. She says, hey there, Naga family. Brandon County, Corey Henderson, my man Florin, Timothy Ballinger, Jerome Easterling, Vince Gibson, Harold Edwards, Zulu Shooters Club chimed in, Johnny Cox. A lot of people chimed in and had comments and feedback. I've also got some stuff in my DMs I haven't had a chance to get to.
And before you take us out, I just want to let everyone know who's watching and listening that the folks on this call, Stephanie, Q, Chad, you don't really understand. You don't really understand the amount of energy that they put into making their chapters successful. Right. We're not getting paid for this, right? This is a labor of love. We do it for the community, and it's a tremendous personal commitment to the success of our community. And I, for one, appreciate everyone who's on this call. I appreciate you for giving us this platform, and I want to also appreciate Philip Smith for forming this organization, and Douglas Jefferson, who's the vice president of NAGA National, for always steering us in the right direction.
Great. Shout out to Aaron Chappelle, Bass Reeves, Kofi Kenyatta, BBGC. So, we've got people that are chiming in and jumping in and have been streaming and also sharing it onto their page. I've got friends that are doing that as well. So, but like I said, this conversation going on for another couple hours. I want to be mindful of everyone's time. But as we do always, we had a very good conversation. We gave it to you straight up chaser. That's going to end our live streaming segment of this conversation. Thank you to everybody that tuned in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay safe.
All right. Peace and blessings.
Peace.